Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Kentucky Downs here on Saturday. It is the 11th of September 2021. We're going to look at the stakes races on the program from Kentucky Downs, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean around the world. Remember to go join me tomorrow for my Longchamp preview, and remember to go check out my St. Ledger preview for today from Doncaster. But it's Kentucky Turf Cup day from Kentucky Downs. So we're going to look at all the stakes races 6 through 10. So let's get to it right now. The sixth race, it is the Mint Ladies Sprint. It's a grade 3 event going for purse $600,000. Race for 3-year-old fillies, mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 14 horses entered, but only 12 could go to the turf course. The distance of ground of 1,300 meters, or the distance of ground of 6.5 furlongs on the turf course. 1,300 meters, 6.5 furlongs. Top selection, I'm going to go with the number 3 horse here. She's so special. We'll go 3, 6, 7, 8 in the superfecta. 3, 6, 7, 8 super. Top selection 3 horse. She's so special. 4-year filly by Hard Spun. Peter Miller trains this one. Joel Rosario gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 14th of August at Del Mar. 1 mile and off 6-2 claimer. And the horse finished second by a neck there. And, you know, he broke well that day. Kind of plodded along. Decent turn of foot late. I didn't think it was a half bad race. Cutting back to 6.5. Back to Kentucky Downs. I think this horse could really get a good race. 1 mile races, I love horses that cut back from a route to a 6.5 furlongs, race, because they don't need the lead. They'll usually see good paces to run with, and it's always exciting races like the 6.5 furlong races downhill Santa Anita. I love betting milers in those races that just can't get a mile, because those horses just win for fun. Like a horse like, obviously, right before he won that Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint in 2016, he was always close but no cigar, holding on to the nearly losing those mile races that ran him for his first start down the hill, first time turf sprinting. Obviously ran in that Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, and he won very good with Flavien Prat up. A lot of money on him that day, and hit the pick 3 connecting those races. Also good memories. But I think she's so special, cutting back to 6.5. It should really suit him well, or her well. 2 back ran the Osanitas at Del Mar 1 mile on the 17th of July, and the horse finished 5th by 2 3/4 lengths at a very wide poster, and you need to have a good ground on that turf course. And also, to add insult to injury, was bumped in the at the start, was wide throughout. It just wasn't a day to win. And then prior to that, Santa Anita 6.5 furlongs into Monrovia, 6.5 out of the backstretch shoot, not down the hillside. The horse finished 7th by 9 3/4 lengths there, and had a horrible trip down the backstretch, stupidly wide. It just was more of a trip than her fault. And then in the lounge race at Golden Gate, 6 furlongs for 34,000, 20th of May, finished second by 3/4 length. Just couldn't quicken up to the full potential late, but still ran decently there. Ran here last year in the Music City, where the horse finished 10th by 11.5 lengths there, and just couldn't get into it. The ground was very soft, which I think cost her. But coming here to a very fast ground, I think she should really run a good race. Also, Rosario up, who's having a great week so far. We're only on day 5, so he's just destroying it. 15-1, let's use this horse. So to recount my selection for the 6 from Kentucky Downs, the Mint Ladies Sprint, let's take 3 horse. She's so special. 3, 6, 7, 8 in the superfecta. The 7th race now, it is the Kentucky Downs Ladies Turf. It's a grade 3 event going for purse $750,000. Race for fillies, mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 9 horses going to the turf course. The distance of ground here of 1,600 meters, or a mile on the turf course. 1,600 meters, 1 mile here on the Kentucky Downs Ladies Turf. My top selection, we're going to go take the number 3 horse Upscons. 3, 5, 2, 9 in the superfecta for me. 3, 5, 2, 9 super. Top selection 3 horse Upscon. 4-year filly by Blame. Eddie Keneally trains. Flavien Prat gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 24th of July at Woodbine. 1 mile in the grade 2 Nassau Stakes. And the horse finished second by 3/4 length there. And he just kind of, he sat back early. His horse doesn't have sometimes will have a lot of gate speed, and then sometimes didn't have a lot of gate speed there. Kind of plodded along. A decent turn of foot late, but it was a little bit too late. Coming here to Kentucky Downs, the horse should see a very good pace to close up with. I think he could really run a good race. 2 back in the Just Game at Belmont, 1 mile on the 5th of June. The horse finished 8th by 9 1/4 lengths there. Didn't break that well, was stupidly wide, and just didn't have the trip to win. And then in the Distaff Turf Mile at Churchill, 1 mile on the 1st of May, the horse finished 4th by 3/4 length, and plodded all the way around the racetrack. Blowout just held on to the victory, but this horse was close closing up well late. I didn't think it was a half bad race with the pace meltdown. And then Sand Springs at Gulfstream, mile 16, 27th of March. The horse finished third by 3.25 lengths there. And again, just kind of stalked, but just couldn't get there late. Horse hasn't won since November of 2019. That came in the Thomas Stakes at Woodbine, where the horse won by a nose and didn't break that well, but really closed up well late. Came back to a 7th place finish after that in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Phillies Turf, and then had a decent winter in 2020 at Gulfstream and at Churchill. But coming here today off some decent workouts and a decent race last time out, also getting Flavien Prat, who knows the turf well. I think at 4-1, he's a very live horse here. You can't throw out the 5 horse. She's on the warpath. Two recent races at Alice was very impressive, and when they send this horse to the front end, she always runs well. I hope they do that again here today at 8-1, another very likely winner. But to recap my selection for the 7th from Kentucky Downs, it's the Kentucky Downs Ladies Turf. We're going to take the 3 horse Abscond. We'll give kudos to the 4 horse, the 5 horse. She's on the warpath. We'll go 3-5-2-9 in the superfecta, 3-5 in the multi-race. The 8th race now from Kentucky Downs, it is the Duel Turf Sprint. It's a grade 3 event going for a purse of $1 million. Races for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field here of 13 horses enter. 12 will go to the turf course. The only 1,200 meter race of the year, or the only 6 furlong race of the Kentucky Downs calendar. 1,200 meters, 6 furlongs here in the Duel Turf Sprint. And they only run one 6 furlong race. Kind of weird why. Maybe the run to the first turn's a little bit short for them. I don't know. But top selection here. I'm going to go with the number 7 horse. The number 7 horse, Casa Creed. We'll go 7-11-3. 12 in the superfecta, 7-11-3-12 super. Top selection 7 horse Casa Creed, 5-year-old horse by Jimmy Creed. Belmont trains. Junior Alvarado comes in for the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 14th of August at Saratoga, 1 mile and the 4-star Dave handicap, and the horse finished third by 2 lengths. He sat back early, a little bit wide late, but he was closing up well. But back to a 6 furlong trip, where he doesn't need to lead, where he could see a very good pace to run with. I think he really run good. Talking earlier, if they ever run a Santa Anita Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint again, he's the kind of horse I bet everything I own on him, because he looks like a horse that could run down that hillside turf course. But back to Casa Creed, 2 back ran the 5th of June at Belmont, 6 furlongs in grade 1 Jaipur, and he won by 2 lengths there. And he sat back early, so good pace to run up with. And when he got the lead in the stretch, he just got the job done, winning by 2 and 105 career best buyer. A very, very good run. And then the 24th of April was his previous race, 7 furlongs in the Elusive Quality. He won by a head, and again, he sat back early, found his way out, and got the job done. They ran him in the Kilroy Mile before that at Santa Anita on Big Cap Day, 1 mile on the 6th of March. He finished 6th by 1.25 lengths there, and he was a little bit wide, and I just don't think it was liking the mile there on that tight turf course. And then he had a decent second in the tropical turf, but he was kind of hitting the wall late, first off the bench. And then they ran last year's Breeders' Cup Mile, where he just was, facing very tough competition, and I thought his 2020 campaign wasn't the best campaign of his life. So far in 2021, where they've been cutting back in trip, he's really running these good races. Training well at Saratoga, 7-2. I like him a lot. Don't throw out the 11 horse here, Stubbins. He just couldn't get there in the Jaipur most recently. He's another horse. His 2019 campaign was very good, but and then 2020 he ran okay in spots, and then 2021 this is a disappointment with Jaipur. But he ran this race last year on soft ground, and I thought he gained a lot of ground there late, even though he kind of slipped around the far turn. But on a drier turf course here today, I think the 12-1 second off the bench he can win. And you can't throw out the number 3 horse Bombard either. It wouldn't surprise me if he goes wire to wire here. He nearly won this race on the front end last year. But he got caught late. But he has a lot of speed here. He has the California speed. A 10-1 will definitely use him in the multis. But to recount my selection now for the 8th from Kentucky Downs Duel Turf Sprint, we'll take the 7 horse Casa Creed. Give kudos to the 11 horse Stubbins and the 3 horse Bombard. 7-11-3-12 super. 7-11-3. In your multi-race. Excuse me, I feel like I'm losing my voice. The 9th race now from Kentucky Downs. It's the featured Calumet Turf Cup. It's a grade 2 event going for a purse of $1 million. Races for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field here of 16 horses entered, but only 12 could go to the turf course. The distance of ground here of 2,400 meters, or the distance of ground of 1.5 miles on the Kentucky Downs turf course. 2,400 meters, 1.5 miles in the Calumet Turf Cup, also known as the Kentucky Turf Cup. My top selection here, we're going to go take the number 3 horse Channel Cat. We'll go 3-4-1-5 in the superfecta. 3-4-1-5 super. Top selection 3 horse Channel Cat. 6-year-old horse by English Channel. Jack Sisterson trains this one. John Blasquez gets on this one for Calumet Farm, who bred this horse also, so it'd be kind of cool for them to win their namesake race. The horse's most recent out came 31st July, Saratoga. Mile 3/8 in the Bowling Green handicap, and the horse finished 4th by 2 1/4 lengths there. He was on the front end early on. He kind of hit the wall in the final 2. He kind of drifting late. It just wasn't his day to win. Slowing it down on this turf course, he's run very well in the past. I think he really run a good race. 2 back, he ran the Manhattan at Belmont. I'm on a quarter 5th of June, and he finished 7th by 8 1/4 lengths there. He was with him early on, a little bit wide there, and I think that cost him the victory. He just couldn't keep up late. But before then, the Man of War at Belmont, a mile 3/8 in the 8th of May, he won by a nose, and basically on the front end all throughout, he do throughout, and he got the job done. A very good run there, and I thought his Elkhorn race before that off the bench, where he placed that day behind Say the World, he really, ran decently. I would like to see him forwardly pace. With the rails down for the first time, the inside course will probably be your best shot to go wire to wire. With the clear shot, 9-2, very likely winner. I'm also going to use the 4 horse here, Tide of the Sea. The Tide of the Sea of early 2021, if he was running and he kept his form to this part of the year, nobody's going to catch him. But after that McDermott race where he placed behind Phantom Currency, his form really fell off the hill. He didn't run an inch in the Elkhorn, didn't run an inch in the Belmont Gold Cup, came back to a decent place in the Grand Coutier, and an okay 4th in the Kentucky Downs Turf Cup, over the mile quarter. But if he wants to come here today, he's going to have to slow it down on the front end. His best chance to win will be on the front end. He ran decently here last year. We'll give him a shot at 6-1 because he can win on paper. And another very likely winner is the the number 1 horse Emperor for Paulo Lobo and Joe Talamo. Most recently in the UN from a starting position, he had a very good place there, and also some of his races like 3 back at Keelan. I thought that race was decently. His buyers are going up as of recently. Should definitely get the trip. 15-1. Let's use him on the multis to blow it up. But to recount my selection for the night from Kentucky Downs, it's grade $2 million Calumet Turf Cup. We're going to take the 3 horse Channel Cat. We'll go 3-4-1-5 in the superfecta, 3-4-1 in your multi race. The 10th race now from Kentucky Downs. It's the Franklin Simpson Stakes. It's a grade 2 event going for a purse $600,000. Race for 3-year-olds here. We have a field of 15 horses entered, but only 12 could go. The distance of ground of 1,300 meters, or the distance of ground of 6.5 furlongs on the turf course. 1,300 meters, 6.5 furlongs here in the Franklin Simpson. Top selection, we're going to go take the number 10 horse, and the number 10 horse who is Point Me By. We'll go 10-7-3-1 in the superfecta, 10-7-3-1 super. Top selection and single for me in the multis will be the 10 horse Point Me By. 3-year-old colt by point of entry. Eddie Keneally trains. Luis Saez gets them out. Most recently, they ran him the grade 1 Bruce D Stakes at Arlington, 1 mile on the 14th of August. A race, it was great at 1, but next year, it wouldn't surprise me if this race gets degraded to grade 3, let alone a grade 2, because this field in 2021 was just a horrible group of grade 1 quality horses. They weren't even grade 1 quality horses. They were listed quality horses at best. But this horse went by 2 3/4 lengths and basically won for fun. He sat back early, slowly moved his way up. When he got the job done, a very, very easy race. Cutting back in trip to 6.5, where he probably doesn't need to lead. I think he really run a good race. 2 back ran the 15th of July at Saratoga, 1 mile allowance race, 103,000, and he finished 4th by 1 1/4 lengths there. He sat back early, a very good turn of foot late. First time facing winners. It was a very respectable run. And then at Churchill on the 20th of June, 5.5 furlongs in the main special weight, 102,000, winning by 2 1/4 lengths. Even from wide poster, he was wide throughout. He got the job done with a lot left in the tank. He's training well since the last one. Like I said, I don't think he needs to lead. I think he should get a good trip here. It's 7-2. Let's use him from a starting position. So to recount my selection for the 10th from Kentucky Downs, the grade 2 Franklin Simpson Stakes. Let's take the 10 horse Point Me By. We'll go 10-7-3-1 in the superfecta. Let's single this 10 horse to end off the multi-race wagers. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.